Will the class of 2017 please enter? Eighth grade, please be seated. It is with great pleasure that I welcome all of you to Marin Country Day School's 2017 Step Up celebration. This graduation ceremony is for our kindergarten through 8th grade, 7th grade, but especially for our 8th grade soon-to-be graduates. Before I introduce one of our departing faculty members who will open the ceremony, I want to take a moment to recognize all of our faculty, staff, and administrators who have worked tirelessly on behalf of our students and family. Will you please stand to be recognized, faculty, staff, and administrators? Give them a round of applause. Woo! Woo! This year, Clara Greisman will open our ceremony. Clara leaves after 19 years as a 5th grade teacher, and before that, she was middle school division head. We will miss her good humor, generosity, and love of teaching. Clara.
Welcome. We are gathered together for our annual Step Up. For some of you, it will be your first, and for others, your last. As parents and as educators, we know how quickly time passes. So we take the time today to honor this year at MCDS and our graduating 8th graders. This is a time to pause, to focus our attention, to mark the end of another year, and most importantly, to celebrate our community of learners. As a teacher who is stepping up today, I am incredibly grateful for the gift of my profession. In many ways, it has been a challenging year for our community and for our world, but I cannot think of any work that is so creative, so intellectually gratifying, so stimulating as working with children and being a teacher. There is so much to be grateful for here at MCDS. For the first day of school, when teachers meet their class for the first time, and we haven't slept the entire night ahead, the amazing, insightful, and wise discussions with 5th graders, and the great discussion, the 5th graders performing Hamilton yesterday at lunch, the creek filling up with water after a hard rain, the incredible book fair, our students reflecting on our year-long global ed study in the format of I used to think, but now I know, and hearing the leaps they have made in their thinking. And for all the colleagues making insightful comments at faculty meetings that have helped me question my own thinking. I'm grateful for having had difficult conversations with parents and feeling thankful that we are all in it together and on the same page, and for all the kind and respectful parents, and for being served a hot lunch every day, and for creating curriculum with my colleagues, for the integrity of my colleagues, and for the laughter of our students and our teachers. And I am most grateful for my teaching partner and for children singing, and most grateful for today. I want to just conclude with a few words by Mary Oliver, one of my favorite poets. Teach the children. We don't matter so much, but the children do. Show them daisies and the pale buttercup. Teach them the taste of sassafras and wintergreen. Give them peppermint to put in their pockets as they go to school. Give them the fields and the woods and the possibility of the world salvaged from the lords of profit. Stand them in the stream, lead them upstream. Rejoice as they learn to love this green space they live in, its sticks and leaves, and the silent, beautiful blossoms. Thank you.
All of us have come here to celebrate the community of the school, but I want to pay a special tribute to a teacher who has worked tirelessly for 42 years at Marin Country Day School. When one walks into Richard Carrico's kindergarten classroom, everyone is greeted with disassembled appliances, musical instruments, birds, snakes, and on Fridays, Harry, his dog, so kids can practice their storytelling and reading skills with Harry. Richard is known for his Hawaiian shirts, fancy Friday lunches, consistent response to the question, "How's your day, Richard?" The answer is always, "Fantastic. It couldn't be better." We will send Richard into his retirement with love, respect, and gratitude. Richard Stan, thank you. Thank you. Okay, here we go. And now we begin the music part of our program with a concert led by our music department, followed by this year's traditional Step Up song. We'd like to welcome SF Jazz's Tammy Hall at the keyboard, who will accompany all of our students. But now the kindergarten, first and second grade classes will begin with a song written by our very own Dave Maloney. Let's begin the concert.
Your ups and your downs, your pros and your clowns, your in between.
kindergarten, first and second grade, please sit. And now, Coleman, Aiden, and Spencer will dedicate this next song, Lean on Me. It is to Harry Forbeck, a current 7th grader. And as we begin the Step Up ritual song, please listen to, because each grade level tells a story.
The all-school step-up song this year is Lean on Me by Bill Withers. The 7th grade would like to dedicate this lyrics of the song to our good friend Harry Forbeck.
He has recently shown strength and courage in the face of a huge challenge. As the song says, we are here for you.
And you can lean on us. Our thoughts are with you, buddy. Thank you.
They were all went by so fast. It's all in the past. And now we're finally free. Lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. How to compost and be centered. It only took 9 years. Now we'll go separate ways and cherish our days. Class of 17 out of here. When we meet again, we all need somebody to lean on. Just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Somebody to lean
I want to thank members of our Board of Trustees for their work this year, but especially those departing trustees. Erica Dow, Sue Decker, Paul Herman, Jay Jacobs, Kara Parsons, and Lisa Williams. Between the 6 of you, you have collectively devoted 32 years of service to MCDS. Thank you. Also, a huge thanks to the Parents Association President, Allie Garrett, her husband Mark, and 2 kids, Langan and Phoebe, for their dedication, and to all the parent volunteers from the Parents Association. Between the Board of Trustees and the Parents Association volunteers, you are wonderful role models, the core values of which are respect, responsibility, and compassion. Now we're going to hear from Jay Jacobs, Chair of the Board. Jay has served on the board for 10 years. Count that, 10 years. 3 of them as board chair. Jay, you have been a steady presence in my life for the past 10 years, but for the past 3 years, we have met consistently every Friday for these 3 years, helping me think through, solve big school issues. Thank you. Also, you have a steady demeanor, a disarming, straightforward manner, and you're a reassurance and guidance to the entire community, to every constituent group, parents, kids, faculty, staff, and administrators, is masterful. Thanks for your outstanding leadership, and thanks go to Liz, your wife, and your 2 sons, Oliver, an alum, and Thayer, a rising 7th grader. We are grateful for your leadership. Come up here.
Thank you, Lucinda. I'm thinking 10 years is sort of a failure to graduate, but I'll take it. Good morning, and I'm very happy to see all of you, and I also want to welcome you to Step Up Day. I want you to know I am a veteran of these events, and I'm very well aware that the best part of the board chair's speech is always when it ends. And I want to reassure you that I am very committed to getting to that outcome, so I will try to be brief. But to give you a quick update, the Board of Trustees has had a very busy year. We've been focused on ensuring that MCDS remains a financially sustainable proposition for our families, for our faculty, and for our staff, while also finding a way forward on the next phase of campus improvements that are outlined in the Campus Master Plan. I also want to thank the current trustees for their service this year, and I want to welcome Chris Bookbinder, Scott Haskins, and Rebecca Eaton as new trustees. I particularly want to thank my friend Andy Nakahata for stepping up and serving as board chair starting next year. As trustees, we have the particular privilege to work closely with our extraordinary head of school, Lucinda Lee Katz. Lucinda, no matter how much we celebrate you next year, it will not do service to your nearly 50 years of leadership in independent schools, in public schools, and on civil rights. Know that we are all profoundly grateful to you. Another partner to the board is the Parents Association, which focused this year on programs to support diversity and inclusion while spearheading a volunteer effort that saw parents in this school give a collective 25,000 hours of volunteer service. My thanks go to all of you who volunteered, to the members of the Parents Association, and especially their president, Allie Garrett. Last, but certainly not least, I want to thank the faculty and staff again. Your skill, passion, and heart never ceases to amaze us all. And I cannot tell you, as a parent, how much we appreciate being able to send our children to spend their day with you. I have one quick story. Back in the spring of 1960, several members of the 7th grade class, the then MCDS 7th grade class, were caught holding hands on a school trip to Stinson Beach. Duly scandalized, this was a different era, the school's administration deemed that the following year, their 8th grade year, this class would participate in a quote-unquote service day as a form of punishment. And so that next May, they spent a day clearing brush and hauling old railroad ties to this hillside, building the first step-up steps and launching the tradition that we enjoy today. Stepping up, as you 8th graders are doing, offers the excitement of new opportunities, but it also means navigating new and unfamiliar challenges. Inevitably, you're going to sometimes mess up, and you will even occasionally exercise bad judgment. That's life, and we all do it. What I hope you'll take from my little story, however, is that even in the worst moments, there is always reason to have hope, because you never know if something extraordinary and lasting is starting to unfold, as was the case right here on that hot, miserable day 56 years ago. As you step up and step out, know that we are all profoundly hopeful for you. This will be true on your good days and on your bad days. And this is also why we need you to stay connected to MCDS. Every time you come back on campus, each time you support the school, our sense of hope is reawakened, and we are reassured in our purpose. In this way, you will also build something lasting for those kids who will be here far in the future. So to the 8th graders, I wish you all the best. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I congratulate you, and I send you off with, of course, high hopes. Thank you.
The 8th grade class will now take their place along the steps, which will be followed by our kindergarten through 7th grade Step Up ritual. 8th grade, please stand. the class of 2017. Okay, let's get everyone else stepping up. Here we go. Will the current 7th grade please stand? Will the new 8th grade please step up? Will the current 6th grade please stand? Will the new 7th grade please step up? Will the current 5th grade please stand? Will the new 6th grade please step up? Will the current 4th grade please stand? Will the new 5th grade please step up? Will the current 3rd grade please stand? Will the new 4th grade please step up? Will the current 2nd grade please stand? Will the new 3rd grade please step up? Will the current 1st grade please stand? Will the new 2nd grade please step up? Will the current kindergarten please stand? Will the new 1st grade please step up? Everybody made it this year. And now, our current 8th grade students will take their seats in front, followed by the singing of their 8th grade song. They would like to honor faculty, staff, and administrators seated in the step-up area or in the audience who taught them. Please join them as they sing "Here Comes the Sun" when that comes up. Brittany will cue you.
comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's alright. It's alright.
We will now hear reflections from the class of 2017.
It may be hard to believe, but I can remember sitting all the way down there on the bottom step. Of course, that was before we even had today's step-up steps. We were really roughing it back then. At that point, I only understood that kindergarten was fun and that my teacher and new idol, Richard Carrico, had some awesome pets. Little did I know, Richard would be graduating the same year that I would. It just took him longer. What I was only starting to get a feel for in kindergarten was that MCDS would become a lot more than a school for me and for my classmates. It would become more of an extended family. And like a family, MCDS taught me a lot more than what I learned in the classroom. It taught me some life lessons that have shaped my outlook on the world. Being a part of the MCDS family also taught me that every family has a couple of crazy aunts, uncles, and cousins that you may not like as much as the others, but hey, you care about them because they're family. My first lesson is that sports and other activities are not just about winning and losing, but about enjoying the game and embracing the teamwork. Let me start out by saying that there are many outstanding basketball players at MCDS, and I am not one of them. Knowing this, I still tried out for and joined the 8th grade basketball team. Believe it or not, I was a starter on the bench of the B team. We didn't win much, and I didn't contribute much, but somehow we still had a lot of fun as a group. And then, miraculously, we won our last game of the season. I also scored a basket. The first and only of my MCDS career. Golden State Warriors, here I come. By MCDS standards, and my standards, it was a successful season. The second lesson I learned is to respect and embrace differences. At a time with some scary events happening on the national and international stage, MCDS is an incredibly inclusive community. But inclusive does not mean that everyone assimilates and acts the same. Over the course of my 9 years at the school, we remained a close-knit group as the class of 2017. But we also emerged as different people with different beliefs and ideas on how to live our lives. As a class, we recognized that we could remain cohesive, but also embrace our differences. We set up original student clubs like TEA and a girls-only affinity group, and presented to the whole school on the clubs and their missions. As far back as our great debate in 5th grade, we learned that it is fine to disagree with someone's ideas, but you can disagree respectfully and without attacking the person that has a different point of view. Moreover, we learned that it is important to listen to and try to learn from people with different perspectives. An example of this would be that service learning is as much a graduation requirement at MCDS as passing your classes. However, most of my friends and I enjoyed service work way before 7th and 8th grade when it is mandatory. It is a core value of the school, and it flows through the curriculum and everything we do. An eye-opening service experience for me came outside of MCDS in a program that the school connected me and my family with, the service trip to Nicaragua in 6th grade. We worked to build a community center in a rural area outside of Leon. We didn't talk about helping, we actually did it. We, as the class of 2017, come out of MCDS believing that you can't just wring your hands about all of the world's problems and cite the right words about how they should be priorities. You need to do something about them. Not when you're an adult, not when the opportunity presents itself, but now and throughout your life. The third concept I will remember long after my MCDS days is that it's not just the destination, it's the journey. Yes, Ted, that is a totally overused cliche. I'm picturing you circling it with your pen and shaking your head and saying, "Oh, Sasitsky." But some cliches are overused because they're true. As pressure was building and all of my classmates and I started to stress out about the high school application process, we dropped everything and headed to Ansel Adams as a class. It was a great trip. I caught a fish that was so small, I flung it about 20 feet behind me while trying to set the hook. We swam in water that was so cold, I'm still trying to get feeling back in my extremities. But mostly what we did was bond and enjoy each other as friends in a group and try to just be present in one of the most dramatic and spectacular places I have ever seen. It was the perfect antidote to taking our stresses in life as an 8th grader too seriously. I think it says a lot about the school that every year from 3rd grade onward, we take the time to go away as a group and have a unique experience. I loved every one of these adventures. I couldn't even rank them if I had to. I'm very thankful for the chance to go to a school with the type of community that we have here, and with the focus on creating interesting, thoughtful, and well-rounded people, rather than just students. After 9 years, it feels strange to leave my teachers and my classmates. I truly love and am going to miss my family here, as our class was like a bunch of brothers and sisters. Even those crazy aunts, uncles, and cousins will live on nostalgically in my heart. But I know that the MCDS community will remain active and important for the class of 2017. After all, even when you leave home and your relationships change, you never really leave your family. Thank you.
I think that it is most appropriate to compare my time at MCDS to a book. Not just a plain old book, but a story complete with plot twists, some boring parts, and the well-known emotional roller coaster. Ever since the age of 4, when I first picked up a book, reading became my favorite pastime. Of course, I'd love to say that my life is like one of the Harry Potter books, but that would be trying to fit my life between the pages of a cover that doesn't fit right. So without further ado, I present my life at MCDS within the pages of the story I'm about to tell you. Part 1, Lower School, Prologue. Kindergarten was the prologue of my 9 years at MCDS. I was in Mrs. Dajogo's class, known as the Calm class. We were the only of the 3 classes who had a nap time, while the hickories hammered their fists and screamed at the adjoining door. I have some small memories from kindergarten. A name for a hatched chick, Sunny, was actually chosen, and we learned the ropes of making friends. But my favorite part of kindergarten was my buddy, May. I can clearly picture her standing on a podium 9 years ago, talking about her own MCDS experiences. So wherever you might be, May, thank you. Chapter 3. 3rd grade was one of my favorite years because of the magazine company we founded during the school year. A couple friends and I called it Mochi Magazine because mochi was our favorite food at the time. It features drawings of mochi sledding, building snow mochis, and singing mochi carols. I have my teacher Steve to thank for encouraging our love of art and writing, and Steve still has a mochi magazine above his desk. Part 2, Upper School, Chapter 5. My favorite part about 5th grade was my incredible teacher, Jen Seeley. She had a way of quietly teaching empowering lessons, something I could relate to as a shy person. She had an understanding of me which I wasn't aware of at the time, and I became more comfortable with myself. The best part of 5th grade was when we wrote our own stories. I was the proud author of a 36-page piece and the object of my class's awe. To be honest, it was pretty awful, but Jen's encouragement was all I needed to gain confidence as a writer. Thank you, Jen, for both seeing and helping me, and enduring my 5th grade writing. Chapter 6. 6th grade started off during the hardest time of my life. I was still recovering from my parents' divorce over the previous summer. I have to consider myself lucky, because my parents came to the decision in a manner that didn't involve any drama. Nevertheless, I suffered, but I wasn't alone. All of my friends, even the new 6th grade ones, were caring, gentle, kind, and exactly what I needed. They carried me on their shoulders when I was weak and propped me up when I was ready. Other than the divorce, 6th grade was an enjoyable year. Janet Bergen was a spectacular humanities teacher whose creative projects and books expanded my love for reading and writing. We read The Book Thief, which I reread twice over the course of 5 weeks. Because of the change that was happening in my life, I was able to connect with the characters on a deeper level, which helped me further understand people, plot, and emotions. Chapter 7. 7th grade is like the chapter that everyone reads and never gets tired of. I am, of course, talking about the Joshua Tree trip. It began with a bang when our teacher forgot the journals, which we had to make out of dental floss and notebook paper, on top of the millions of ants we found in our new campsite. We also had hilarious times, like when someone dug out a book, The Perfectionists, from the bottom of their pack, and we bonded over the overly dramatic teenage drama. The book ends on a cliffhanger, and I learned that books can bring even the most different people together when the circumstances are right. Chapter 8. Today is the most book-like part of MCDS. It's when I'm reading a favorite book and I'm on the final chapter of it. I can see the end and can feel the number of pages thinning under my fingers, but I purposely slow down in order to prolong the inevitable final page turn. Yet I have to finish because I have to know what happens at the end. At the end of this story, I am standing here looking at the faces of my companions. There's so much that I want to say as a final paragraph, yet I'm at a loss for words. We've finished the last chapter now, and all I have to do is close the cover. My classmates, you are the incredible characters of this story, as unforgettable as Harry Potter, Ron, and Hermione, but even more real. I'll always remember our story. I wish you the best of luck and happiness as we head out to write the chapters of our new books in high school and beyond. So for now, goodbye to everyone. Goodbye, and thank you for everything.
Una compañera de clase y mi amiga, Jessica González Rodríguez, me dijo que sus padres no entenderían la mayoría de esta ceremonia de hoy porque el primer idioma de ellos es español. Mi abuela, Helen Chu, que está aquí en la audiencia, también tendrá problemas para entender la ceremonia de hoy porque su idioma principal es el coreano. Hoy quise comenzar mi discurso en español para honrar a las personas de la comunidad MCDS que hablan o enseñan en otro idioma. En segundo lugar, me gustaría aumentar la conciencia para las personas que no utilizan el inglés como su idioma principal, como a veces estas personas no se reconocen. De mi propia experiencia personal, sé que puede ser muy incómodo y frustrante cuando una conversación continúa y parece que todas las personas entienden lo que está pasando, excepto tú. Para mí, cuando mi madre y mi abuela hablan en coreano el uno al otro, entiendo casi nada. La gente no tiene la intención de ser insensible, simplemente ellos están haciendo lo que les viene naturalmente a ellos cuando hablan en un lenguaje común. Mi experiencia de MCDS me ha enseñado a tratar y ser más sensible y incluyente hacia los demás. Hemos experimentado algunos tiempos grandes, junto con unos malos, pero lo más importante, pasamos por todo eso juntos. Y creo que nosotros, como la clase de 2017, somos mejores por eso. Muchas gracias. Hello. Many people here have not been in a situation where they had no idea what the speaker was talking about, perhaps until today. A fellow classmate and friend of mine, Jessica Gonzalez Rodriguez, told me that her parents would not be able to understand most of today's Step Up ceremony because their primary language is Spanish. My own grandmother, Helen Chu, who was here in the audience, will similarly find it difficult to understand today's dialogue because her native tongue is Korean. Today, I wanted to start my speech in Spanish to honor the members of the MCDS community who speak or teach in another language. Secondly, I would like to increase awareness for those who do not use English as their main language, for these people can sometimes feel unrecognized due to the language barrier. From my own personal experience, I know it can be very uncomfortable and frustrating when a conversation is going on, and it seems that everyone understands what is happening except for you. For me, when my mom and grandmother speak to each other in Korean, I understand almost none of it. People don't mean to be insensitive. It's just that they are doing what naturally comes to them when speaking in a common language. My MCDS experience has taught me to try and be more sensitive and inclusive towards others. Ultimately, learning a different language has helped me achieve my goals. I've studied Spanish for almost all my years at MCDS, and I have to thank my Spanish teachers for giving me the inspiration and support that allowed me to develop a love for the language and culture. Without all of you, I would have never built the confidence to talk in front of 1,000 people in Spanish. For me, learning Spanish at MCDS has been such a special opportunity, as it has taught me to appreciate one's identity and culture. Studying Spanish has made me realize that diversity strengthens a community. So if we can bring together differences and qualities that separate us from one another, we are actually breaking the barrier that once divided us. In 6th grade, we were joined by 26 classmates who brought in new talents, voices, and perspectives. This changed the dynamics of our grade, as we learned to accept and include each other's unique identities. The lesson I've learned, and hopefully will pass on today, is that MCDS is a very special place. I'm quite fortunate to have attended a school that is based on a foundation of respect, responsibility, and compassion. One where foreign language is not just another box to check or another accomplishment that looks impressive. To my classmates, the class of 2017, I know each one of you will reflect upon our time at MCDS together. We have been part of such an incredible, loving community that perhaps we won't fully appreciate until many years later. Maybe even crispy fish for lunch will sound good when we're older. Much, much older. We have experienced some great times, along with a few rough ones. But most importantly, we went through it all together. And I believe that we, as the class of 2017, are better because of that. Thank you.
We will now present diplomas to the class of 2017.
Alexander Rohan Ronganathan. James John Kuo Spokes. Stephen James Dawes. Olivia Kendall Nachman. Madeira Messiah Lowe. Tucker Shaw Fisher. Samuel Allen Robinson III. Claire Madeline Espinosa. Tara Patricia Kaminsky. Greta Elizabeth Lynn. Catherine Carol Woodward. Rachel Jacqueline Kay. Elizabeth Herman Swanson. Sydney Chu Park. Alexander Joseph Kong. Jessica Gonzalez Rodriguez. Lily Faye Miller. Chase Robert Thompson. Emilia Virginia Hunes. Ella Gold Hyman. Jessica Sidney Lee. Ava Holland Wakon. Evan Carlo Fowler. Anna Yoon Lorick. Erica Jade Hang. Cooper West Slaughter. Kyler Emerson Flynn. Elias Thomas Michael. Mackenzie Turner Park. Catherine Ann Hartel. Roxanne Faye Zaroff. Robert Cooper Ronald. Blake Wyatt Shativa. Lily Samantha Beckwith. Daphne Gray Lasher. Eliza Ray Zaroff. Madeline Wells Tinnell. Philip Walter Way. Willow Eileen Baker. Maxwell Kenneth Weil. Aiden Gabriel Walker Yee. Sebastian William Smith. Jacob Tian Ming Young. Mariko Catherine Karp. Robert Peter McGlashan. Natalia Barbara Josephine Hall. Louise Barthrop Marlowe. Mercer Lauren Henderson. Sophira Athena Pohl. Robin Means Wadsworth. Jasmine Rose Gonzalez. Catherine Herman Swanson. Sophie Grace Campbell-John. Georgia Francis Hale. Grayson Rogers Hayunga. Ella Gardet Dovey. Isabella Bryce Ritter. Diego Roberto Zeca. Nicholas Standish Lingren Gainsler. Benjamin Tyler Lacey. Christopher Brooks Lamb. Luke Covington Moore. Lawrence Alexander Bancroft. Kobe Andre Morgan. Matthew Dean Robinson. Tyler Eli Sisitsky. Wyatt Menzies O'Connell. Bo Samuel Weissman. John James McConnell IV. Maxwell Woodbury Troner. Charles Ford Tracy. William Connor Murray. James Traylor Smith Wallace. Jacob Ethan Cohen. Samuel Mark Cohen. Thomas Maxwell Upin. Zachary Ming Z. Beischer. James Maddock Davis. Spencer Alexander Howe. And finally, Ezra Marchant Banks.
Family, friends, and colleagues, I present to you the graduating class of 2017. Eighth grade and students, please be seated. Will the audience be seated? As part of my tradition, I always give a brief summary. Eighth grade, you may sit. Sorry. Congratulations. As part of my tradition, I always give a brief summary of the students and the parents. So, of the 80 graduates, 48 began in kindergarten, 25, maybe 26, I didn't get my stats right exactly, joined in 6th grade, and the others of you came in other grades. 44 of you are the last student graduating out from your family. Though you are a diverse class, you have become a cohesive group, and teachers describe you as kind, sensitive, and extremely supportive of one another. You are committed to the issues of social justice, and it's no surprise, as Tyler mentioned in his speech, that you started Teaching Equity and Affinity, TEA. You initiated our annual Day of Silence for the Upper Division, and you started a feminist support group. You are athletes, mathletes, actors, musicians, artists, and social activists. You have high emotional intelligence and unmatched collective sense of humor. Instead of being fragmented by diverse interests and personalities, you somehow come together as a class and embrace differences. I saw 2 of you this weekend, and you said, we've been watching and watching for 8 years. Step up, step up, step up. And it's finally our turn. And so, class of 2017, congratulations. Parents, thank you for being strong partners, volunteering in so many ways. 11 of you served on the Board of Trustees, past and present. 36 of you served in the Parents Association as leaders, 18 as annual fund volunteers, 8 as admission tour guides, 1 as a parent of the Parents Association. We know that we're losing so much of the school's history with your class because you have been great cultural carriers. And for the next generation of parents, you have served as great role models too. We have actually 6 double alums in this class. They are Alex Zecca, Jimmy Hyman, Michelle Drohan, Mary Lasher, Ken Trauner, and Vicki Zaroff, she with 23 years. As our school celebrates its 60th, it's a pleasure to graduate out the double Step Up families. So graduates, we want you to know that you have had a very unique experience of community. It is such a hard concept for us to teach. You sort of have to get it through being involved with one another and with your teachers. So now I leave you with 5 thoughts. Be active and work hard to create a better world. Create solutions to challenging problems of the world. You are young adults of privilege, not because of money, but because you are able to think freely and act boldly and behave justly. Give back to any community that you're a part of, whether it's in high school, your first job, college, whatever it is, make sure you give back to that community. 3, you are the collective hope of our next generation, so please don't forget those quiet members in your class or the invisible members of our community. 4, we like to think that we have prepared you for your future by having you practice resilience, collaboration, gratitude, hard work, dedication, reflective thought, and keep practicing mindfulness. Please treasure these skills. And finally, cherish your friendships with your peers. But most importantly, teach others about respect, responsibility, and compassion. Now, we send you off to new adventures and challenges. Come back to visit us often. Stay in touch. Tell us your stories. We wish you the best in everything you do. Congratulations. The students will now be seated and sing to us, "Think of Me." While the music department is coming up, I ask all of you later to stand and sing the school song. It's on the back of your program. And then I'll cue you again, but remain standing for the processional. This is coming to the end of our ceremony. ask all of you to stand when Maggie gives us the cue. Join us in singing the school song found in the back of the program. Our 8th graders will remain standing for the processional, accompanied by our bagpiper. Except for our graduating class, everyone else should be seated right after the school song. The graduates will depart first, followed by the adult speakers. The rest of the students will leave the step-up area, return to their classroom so you can meet them there. Please allow our students time to leave before you leave. This year, we ask our 8th grade families to hang around the step-up area, but then proceed quickly to the PE pavilion where you can take pictures and visit with the graduates, and the staff will come to let you know when the reception will begin. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please stand. Graduates remain standing. Audience and the other students, please sit.